Welcome to Southeastern 16, presented by FanDuel. Chris Lee, joined by Chase Robinson, here to recap the afternoon and evening slate of games. Here is how we'll discuss them. We will not talk about Texas's 34-31 win over Vanderbilt because that had its own video earlier in the day. You can catch all that there. We will hit Georgia's 24-20 win over Florida in Jacksonville. Ole Miss's 30-14 win over South Carolina. Kentucky upsets Hugh Freeze and Auburn 10-3. Mississippi State 38, Arkansas 35. And then we will get to Oklahoma, Tennessee last because this game apparently is going to be the last to wrap up. And just got a little more interesting as we're doing this. Oklahoma had it, I'm not going to say in the bag, but up 9. John Mateer's just thrown the pick. So we will get to that one later and last because that one, we'll wait for that one to end. But before we get to anything, we remind you, we're brought to you by our friends at Game Time Sidekicks. Got my 40-ounce water tumbler. And you know what I like about it? The ice from this morning until just a few minutes ago was still icy. That's the kind of product they have. Game Time Sidekicks offers stainless steel drinkware, all SEC schools, 350 other universities, stainless steel sippy cups, tumblers, 40-ounce bottles, and shaker cups. SE16 get you a 20% discount on your entire order at GameTimeSidekicks.com. Chase, interesting day in the SEC. Just get your thoughts on the whole before we start getting into games.
Yeah, it was an interesting day. Some close games, some games that were fun to watch that I felt like just kind of had us sitting on the edge of our seats waiting to see what happens. So really entertaining day. You know, we didn't have a huge slate of games, but they were fun. It was a fun day to watch football.
Yeah, it was such a fun day. Like, I'm a big baseball guy. I was barely paying attention to the World Series, which is still going.
Yeah, headed to the ninth.
And in the 8th or 9th inning of Game 7. College football has just gotten that interesting.
Yeah.
And boy, do we have some interesting games today. Let's start with, Georgia 24, Florida 20. Florida had a chance late. Billy Gonzalez made a questionable coaching decision going forward on that 4th down. Georgia just does what it does. It falls behind, and it slowly gets you like an anaconda and squeezes the life out of you and wins late when it's outlasted you. That's just kind of what Georgia's MO is this year. Gunnar Stockton makes winning plays. Great game down in Jacksonville today. Had some controversial moments, which seems like that's every week in SEC football. Certainly had a few games where officiating was a discussion. Your thoughts on Florida, Georgia?
Yeah, you know, Florida had their opportunities. That catch, that was so close. That was there at the end of the game. That they ruled incomplete. You know, it was the ball been a little higher. He could have made the catch. That'd been a huge difference maker in that game. But still, Florida was in that game. I thought they played well. They played with some life, and so it's you're right. You know, if Florida, in the situation that they were in, yeah, Georgia has been in those close games. They've won those, and I think that certainly helped them in that situation. And so, but hey, hats off to Florida for playing with some life. They, you know, and we see this with teams that are interim coaches in the first game after a coach is fired, and you see a little inspiration, and I feel like we saw that from Florida today, just not enough to win that game. And again, they had their moments, they had their chances, and not able to finish. But I think we can give a tip of the hat for Florida there because they came mighty close.
Yeah, tail of a couple of standout receivers. Eugene Wilson III had a great game today with, I think, the other Wilson out. And then Zachariah Branch, who is probably Georgia's most talented playmaker, goes, 10 for $112 today? I mean, I feel like Georgia, it's never a dominating box score. Feels like what they do is they just run more plays than you do and ended up winning at the end because they're the team that doesn't make the mistake.
Right, yeah. And mistakes, look, in a game like that, that's what it's going to come down to, is what team can be composed and poised in those big time moments. And Georgia was the one that stayed composed, that was able to win that game. It's a rivalry game. I mean, crazy things happen. We see that anytime, you know, we see in these rivalry games. And so composure was big, and Georgia was able to stay composed to win that game.
Georgia's not a lock for the playoffs yet, but love Georgia's chances. Road game with Mississippi State, which, boy, that in Arkansas was interesting today. We'll get to that in a bit. Home game with Texas. I don't know what to think of Texas. Charlotte, that'll be a runaway, and then Georgia Tech and Atlanta, which Tech, by the way, took its first loss of the season at NC State.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would say Georgia, I mean, at this point, maybe you give them a loss, maybe you don't. I don't know. But, I mean, even with 2 losses, I don't think you keep Georgia out of the playoff, and I don't think you see Georgia losing 2.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. To Georgia, I feel like they're good in those games that they need to be good in, you know, like Texas coming up in a couple of weeks may look like another Georgia team. But I feel like Texas is going to challenge us from different ways as well. But I feel like Georgia is a team that they're going to be ready for the moment. They're going to be ready to get there, get back to the playoff. And so I think we'll, again, see some good stuff from this Georgia team coming up.
Speaking of just about guaranteed for the playoffs, Ole Miss 30, South Carolina 14. Ole Miss remaining games are the Citadel, Florida, Mississippi State. Last one on the road. That's the only one on the road. I don't know how much of this you got to watch, but the score was misleading. I feel like Ole Miss dominated the game by more than the margin. Started the game with, what was it, a short field position for South Carolina, needed 16 yards to go for a 1-yard Sellers run. I think it was a fumble or a special teams play. I don't remember what happened there, but Carolina had a short field, and then Sellers made a beautiful throw to Nick Harbor, like the kind of throw that we thought we'd see, once a game. Other than that, Ole Miss dominated. Kejuan Lacey had one of the bigger plays of the game with the long run on a one play possession for Ole Miss, third or fourth quarter. And, just kind of took control of it and didn't really let lose. Carolina just doesn't have enough of an offense, Chase, to mount any kind of threat against a good team. Yeah. And for Ole Miss, it was a take care of business game, and that's exactly what the Rebels did.
Yeah, and I didn't get to watch much of this one, but just kind of from what I've been reading after the game and looking at it, it does seem that trend continues of just struggles offensively for South Carolina and making the plays that they need to, and that's tough when you have some of the players that they do, when you had the expectations that they had on them this year, and they're just not living up to them right now.
Yeah, here's a weird line. South Carolina, was sacked 6 times. Okay, they got that in the column I didn't think. I mean, I think that was the one thing that you're concerned about if you're Ole Miss is Dylan Stewart getting in your backfield, causing a fumble return touchdown, something like that. Ole Miss was the team that had a pass rush a year ago. Hasn't been as big of a thing this year, but I think opportunity presented itself with South Carolina, and Ole Miss took advantage of it. 230 yards allowed by the defense tonight. The defense hasn't been great and has sometimes kind of been criticized, but it's been good enough lately. And Ole Miss has just got a formula now with what Chambliss can do, with Lacey really coming on, with a ton of guys who can make plays in the passing game. It feels like they've got, 4 or 5 guys that could lead them in receiving any given week. They're just so tough to beat because they can get you in so many ways.
Yeah, and I feel like we're seeing them a little more established now. Like they're getting familiar. They're working well together. I think that we're starting to see, and look, we're starting to see some of the best of Ole Miss. And I'm going to say that, we've been waiting, and we've seen Lane win some big games, but I feel like we're starting to see this Ole Miss team get into a rhythm where I think we are going to see Lane Kiffin win some big games. And that's been a narrative around Lane Kiffin is, can he win big games? Well, I think we're going to start seeing that. I really like what I've seen from Ole Miss, the way they play. And I'm really interested to see what we're going to see for the rest of the season. If they can make a run, I think this team is built to do that with what Lane Kiffin has assembled there in Oxford.
How weird is it that they're going to the playoffs this year and not last year? Because I think last year's team would beat this year's team, I don't know, 10 points.
Yeah, I would have never thought that going into the season, because last year all the talk was, and we've talked with people all the time on this channel and other places about Ole Miss. Last year was playoff or bust. That was the year. That was the year to do it. And so going into the year, I just thought, okay, like Ole Miss is going to take a step back, and they haven't. This is a better team, and I think maybe the fact that they were flying under the radar a little bit going into the season has helped this team. There wasn't as much pressure, and Chambliss has just kind of kept this team steady when things could have gone south. He's kept this train rolling.
I mean, the Florida game is the one they're going to have to be careful with. And frankly, the Mississippi State game, too. That's a rivalry that's on the road. We know about Florida last year and what happened there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Florida, speaking of wild cards, Florida's a complete wild card now with Gonzalez as coach and all that. By the way, Tennessee has just gotten a late touchdown and is going for an onside kick. In the World Series, the Dodgers hit a home run to tie it in the top of the ninth. So we got some fantastic games. Tennessee is attempting an onside kick, a minute 50 left. Oklahoma clinging to a 26-24 lead. And I don't think the kick went 10 yards. It didn't, but Oklahoma had it anyway. So Oklahoma, let's see, Tennessee has got 2 timeouts. So this thing's not over yet. But we were inside the 2-minute warning in Knoxville. That was a great grab by somebody there, too, on the onside kick.
Sure was, yeah.
Okay, next up, let's go here. We've got Kentucky 10, Auburn 3. Our man Matt is in the chat. Congratulations, Matt. Let me find the comment. Because he said, I don't always need to win for me to show up, but I always show up when we win, or something along those lines. And by the way, Matt's not familiar with your game, Chase. Matt's one of our basketball guys.
Okay.
So
I've been here for a year and a half, Matt.
That's right. Mostly on the pretty much 100% on the football side. But hey,
yes.
did not have Oklahoma's going to run for a touchdown or kneel at the one. And, I think he got in the end zone accidentally. No, he did not. Okay, Oklahoma did the bus free into Tennessee territory and down the ball inside the one. So, barring something weird, we may have a review to see if this is a touchdown.
It's close. Usually we're reviewing to see that if the nose of the football crossed the goal line. This time we're seeing if it didn't, and that's close.
If it didn't, it was right on. I think he might have gone down right before. I think the ball is as close to the goal line as it can be without being in.
I think so too, yeah.
So anyway, where was I going? Oh, Kentucky. I did not expect Kentucky to go down to beat Auburn. Thought Auburn had found some stuff. The quarterback switch was where I had my eyes. How is that going to work? It worked worse than ever, I think. Seemed to make both those guys worse. Kentucky's defense really got after Auburn. Thought both defenses played pretty angry tonight.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Hugh Freeze just that's over. It's just a matter of when. Now, I don't know that John Cohen may be doing a smart thing by just not doing anything, because again, what you do every time you fire a coach this time of the year is you tip your hand. You give everybody else
Yeah.
a chance to raise the coach that you were going after. And so I would understand if John Cohen takes that route, but my goodness, the cry for Hugh Freeze's head has to have hit a crescendo tonight.
Yeah, there were fire freeze chants from the students as he was leaving the field. He was booed when they were calling out the starting lineup, so they got to Hugh Freeze, and that was before the game was even played. It's run its course. At this point, I don't see how they keep him past tomorrow. With all of that going on, whether they want to get, stuck in this coaching carousel or not, they've got to make a change. And I feel like it probably will be tomorrow. They did not look good offensively. Yeah, and the quarterback situation was bizarre. They go back to Jackson Arnold. He couldn't do anything. They go back to Ashton Daniels and 7 sacks in the game. Credit the defense of Kentucky. They did a good job pressuring Auburn, which they've had trouble with all season. So it's just I feel like we're at a point of no return right now for Auburn, and I see I see a coaching change in the very, very near future at Auburn.
This is what's astonishing to me. Auburn's offensive line was supposed to be pretty good coming into the season. They gave up 7 sacks to Kentucky tonight, a Kentucky defense that had been struggling. They got 2 mobile quarterbacks. Didn't matter tonight. They were just both sitting ducks. Jeremiah Cobb feels like the only really weapon they've got right now. I mean, that's, of course, they have weapons in Coleman and Singleton, but they can't get them the ball, so it just doesn't matter. And meanwhile, Cutter Boley threw 2 picks tonight, and it didn't matter. Like that's the recipe if you're Auburn. That's why I thought Auburn would win the game. I just thought Kentucky will give them some short fields, and Auburn will do just enough. Or maybe it will have found something. None of that happened. And by the way, credit to Kentucky. Those kids, for all the talk of your coach is going to be gone kind of stuff, they continue to stick in there and play really hard for Mark Stoops.
Yeah, they do. And I mean, that says something about, how they feel about him. Now, if that's an open job, wouldn't surprise me either at the end of the season or before the end of the season. But they are playing hard for him still. And, again, the way they does, he's a defensive guy. And I thought they had a really good defensive game plan tonight to find the weak points on Auburn offensively. And, I think a play that kind of summarized that game and really summarized Auburn's season, and Cole Kubelik even said this on the broadcast, that late in the game, the Auburn interception that they then fumbled and Kentucky got the ball back. That was just kind of a summary of how that game went tonight and how things have gone for Auburn as they had some chances. But again, I thought the game plan for Kentucky defensively was good, and you can tell Cutter Boley's got to get more comfortable back there leading this offense as well.
Yeah, he's talented. Kendrick Law, the Alabama transfer, got their only touchdown tonight. Auburn is the only one of 3 teams to hold every team's under 24 points in every game so far, and Auburn's 4-5 in spite of that. I mean, just crazy stat.
Yeah.
Zach says War Eagle. He's gone. I mean, look. Got to be. And meanwhile, we got temperature change in Norman. Stoops is signing a 15-year, $500 million extension after tonight, which, by the way, Oklahoma went ahead and scored a play after it took a knee at the 1-inch line. So giving Tennessee a chance, but I guess Tennessee had a couple timeouts too. Maybe that played in. I don't know.
Tennessee's got a lot of work to do in a short amount of time, though, with one timeout.
Yeah. Kentucky, let's see. Kentucky is a bowl game possible now? 3-5. Probably not. Games with
I don't think so.
Florida, Tennessee Tech, Vandy, Louisville. Yeah, that would be tough. Auburn had a bowl game teed up coming into tonight.
Yeah, I don't see that anymore.
No. Auburn's remaining games, Vandy next week, off week, Mercer, Alabama.
Yeah, they should beat Mercer. But I don't know about
Here's
the
what
other
I want
ones.
to know. If you're Auburn, not that it would happen this way, what if Hugh Freeze beating Alabama saved his job?
He's
You
got to
had a
get there
choice
first.
between beat Alabama or get rid of your coach. What do you take?
I mean, I think they want both of those things. I don't think
Right.
that I don't think that if you ask majority of Auburn fans, yes, they want to beat Alabama, but they also want a new coach. And so I think they would take both of those things, but surely they can score on Mercer.
Yeah, Kenneth asked, can they score on Mercer? I don't know at this point. But hey, hats off to Kentucky. I mean, Auburn still, again, had stuff to play for. Big crowd, night crowd. That was a spot that felt really hard for the Cats to get a win, and they went out and did it. Next up, we've got this one. Mississippi State 38, Arkansas 35. Both those teams have found a way to lose games every way imaginable lately. Somebody had to win. Jeff Lebby making questionable decisions again. I don't know what he was doing with his quarterback there. They played the freshman who played pretty well, then pulled him again for Blake Shapen, but did lead them to the winning score. Arkansas, 193 yards of penalties today, Chase.
That's absurd. That's crazy. You're definitely not going to win games that way. But a good win for Mississippi State. I mean, they've been so close in some of these games. So they were finally able to pull one out, and we knew one of these teams was going to walk away with a conference win, and that was good for Jeff Lebby and Mississippi State to win that game. And you know, if you're Arkansas, you think another close one, another one you feel like you probably could have won, but it's and we talked about this last week. The Bobby Petrino experiment is over, you know, and so it'll be interesting to see what Arkansas does the rest of the season. But that was a good win for Mississippi State. They really needed that.
Yeah, State had two guys, Evans and Thompson, go over 100 receiving. Fluff Bothwell played, but not super effective. Kamario Taylor was their leading rusher, 6 for 55 and a score, also threw a touchdown. Again, was watching the game and couldn't quite figure out why they pulled him. Did we ever get an explanation on that in the post-game presser?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't understand it. I asked that one on Twitter, didn't get an answer from that fan base. I think they were as perplexed as I was. By the way, Tennessee has kicked a field goal and now trying another onside kick to have a shot here.
Oklahoma called a timeout.
Okay. 46 seconds. I mean, that's plenty of time.
Oh, yeah.
Did Oklahoma did Oklahoma score the touchdown because of the time remaining, or because Tennessee having a couple of timeouts there?
I'm not sure. I've got it over here, and so I wasn't completely paying attention to it while we were talking, and so I'm not sure how it all went down. But if Tennessee had a couple timeouts, then and you had to punt it away from there, you know, they would have good field position. So at that point, if you're that close, you probably should punch one in.
Comments are on fire tonight. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Arkansas. I mean, I think we can. Not that you were going to go there anyway, but that should throw any dirt on the idea that Petrino might get that job. For Mississippi State, Jeff Lebby just needed to beat somebody. I thought fan base has been kind of hard on him because I think he's gotten him competitive faster than I thought he would, and I give him credit for that. But man, his in-game decision making has just been something else lately. And if they lose that game, which by the way, defense made a big play for them late in the game. They got pressure on Taylon Green, and I hope Taylon Green, by the way, is healthy as Oklahoma recovers an onside kick. And now we'll just run the clock out to win in Knoxville. But, yeah, they got it done with different guys today. And Shapen, as much as I didn't understand them pulling him, did throw the winning touchdown pass and throw for 242 today. And by the way, they held Taylon Green to 194, which I think has got to be his lowest passing output of the year.
Yeah.
And Arkansas 2-7. So now not that the bowl was going to happen anyway for the Razorbacks, but that clinches it. And meanwhile, State 5-4. Hey, your bowl hopes are still alive. You had to get this one if you realistically wanted to do it. And they've got left, let's see, Georgia, Missouri, Ole Miss. Don't see them winning any of those, but they could get one. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
No, it's not. They could sneak. I mean, they've played close with some good teams. It's just finishing. And sometimes getting a win in a close game will help with that. Show you, hey, we can do this. We can finish. Maybe that's the case for Mississippi State if they're in another close game. But that is a tough sledding there for Mississippi State the rest of the way out.
All right, we'll get into Tennessee, Oklahoma as this one finishes out. Also keeping an eye on the World Series, where the Blue Jays have the bases loaded with one out in the ninth in a 4-4 game. Toronto's the home team here. So, all right, before we get there, reminder, help out those who help the channel. We are brought to you by our friends at the Yearly Company. And the Yearly Company is where you go to get your Christmas shopping done early, guys. It's a Nashville-based fine jewelry brand built on tradition, designed for meaning, each piece handcrafted from solid 14-karat gold, natural gemstones, made to measure for a perfect fit, backed by a lifetime guarantee, because every Yearly Company bangle is custom sized. Knowing your size is the most important first step before ordering. That's where the sizing kit comes in. Code SE16KIT, KIT, gets you 100% off your order at checkouts. Also brought to you by Rockform, the world's strongest magnetic phone case. I use Rockform stuff and swear by it. That is ROKFORM. Go to rockform.com to get extreme protection for your phone. Super strong magnets, rock lock secure mounting, SEC25. Get you 25% off your entire order and get the vent clip. Thank me for that. That in the phone case. Make your car ride so much easier. Keep your phone in front of you where it's not sliding around and you can see it when you need to. So anyway, help out those who help our show with Rockform and Yearly. All right, Oklahoma, Tennessee in the books now. Oklahoma has pulled a road win, stayed into playoff contention. I think pretty much all but knocked the Vols out of the playoff discussion. Your thoughts here?
Yeah, this was one of those games that you kind of expected to be a game and an elimination game of sorts. Loser probably won't be in. Winner of this game, your chances are still there. And I think Oklahoma, and again, they've got Alabama coming up after a bye. They've got Missouri and LSU. And I think Alabama and Tuscaloosa will be a challenge, but I think the others are winnable games and possibly even winnable against Alabama. But I think this is a playoff team in Oklahoma, unless something totally changes. I think that they stay the course. Going to Knoxville and winning is a tough thing to do, and they were able to do that. So hats off, Oklahoma, able to go up there and get the win. And again, Knoxville's a tough place to play. Mateer didn't throw for a touchdown. They had to rely on the run game. He did run in for a touchdown there. But I think Oklahoma has a really good shot. Maybe not winning out, but coming close to winning out, and possibly. I think they're going to challenge Alabama. I really do. I think that they will have an opportunity to possibly do something big in Tuscaloosa. I really like what I see from Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, like even losing in Tuscaloosa, you beat Missouri and LSU at home. I still
Yeah.
think you got a discussion.
I think so too.
With the teams
I
they
would agree
beat.
with that.
Yeah. So I think tonight, the big thing, really, here's where the game swung. Tennessee had dominated the first half stat sheet. I mean, at one point, total offense was, man, I don't know, 250 something to 80 or 90 something. And the turnovers, which that was the concern with Joey Aguilar, the turnovers. Yeah. He threw two awful picks, one of which got run back, put Oklahoma in field goal range. Oklahoma's got a great kicker, and they nailed one just before half to make it 16-10. That kind of felt to me like where the game turned because OU got the ball out of the second half and just, yeah, Tennessee's defense has just been so leaky. And tonight, when the offense helps the defense out, what am I trying to say? When Tennessee helps Oklahoma out by throwing picks, which you can't do against that defense, hard to win.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that was most certainly the case. And yeah, you put yourself in a very difficult situation to win a game with those things happening.
Yeah. If you're not watching the World Series, by the way, this ninth inning has been bananas.
I just flipped it on there after the game.
Okay. Yeah. You had a bang play at the plate that had to go to replay on a force play with the bases loaded. Safe, Blue Jays win the thing, and then a ball hit to the gap where two outfielders nearly crashed into each other before Andy Paez grabs it and crashes into the wall. So we're going to extras in the World Series. And sorry, I know I know we're a football channel, but hey, it's the seventh game of the World Series. You got to keep an eye on that too. But yeah, I mean, what did you think of John Mateer tonight? I mean, they got a little running game with Robinson tonight, which helped. By the way, Tennessee's running game just kind of fell off a cliff tonight, which made it harder on Aguilar. But OU, that's been the question. Can they run the ball a little bit? Tennessee's defense has had some issues, and I think that was kind of a key in the game tonight.
Yeah, I think so too. You look at Mateer's numbers, 19-29, 159, an interception, didn't throw for a touchdown, had 80 yards rushing, and a touchdown. Yeah, a mixed bag from him, and I feel like, again, we're not quite where we've seen John Mateer pre-injury, which was really good. We see that at moments, but we need to see that consistently. And that's going to be the recipe. We're talking about Oklahoma could be a playoff team. They're going to need John Mateer clicking at all cylinders, most certainly, for these last three games. You need to see him pre-injury. John Mateer is what we need to see for this Oklahoma team, and we're not quite seeing that yet still.
Yeah. Any more thoughts? I think we've hit all the games. Again, we hit Texas and Vanderbilt earlier in the day in its own live stream. Some games around the country of consequence, and then we'll get to medal stand for teams and players. Some stuff that you need to know that happened that affect the playoff chase today. First of all, big happenings in the ACC. Miami goes to SMU and loses. I just don't know that Miami's got enough chances for big wins here on out to get in the playoff. The Hurricanes do have that one against Notre Dame, which was big in Miami, but I don't think Miami now, I don't know that it even can get to the ACC title game. Two losses in the conference, I just don't see it. Miami's 2-2. Yeah. So losing that one may have knocked Miami out of the playoff. If it can't get to the title game. Georgia Tech went to NC State, gave up 48 points and got beaten. So your only remaining unbeaten team in the ACC right now is Virginia. 5-0 in the conference, 8-1 overall, which I don't think Virginia is that good. Virginia almost lost to North Carolina last week. And needed, gosh, I don't think clinched the one at Cal until the final minutes today. So that's something, if you're in the SEC, we're really, really rooting for things to go poorly in the ACC for those teams. And tonight that happened.
Yeah, it did. It's the ACC is my goodness. It's just I don't know what to make of it.
Yeah. Let's see. Big 12, we've got an eye on Utah and Cincinnati. That could be a game with some playoff impact. Utah's winning that one by 10 in the second half. Houston, which I don't think was going to the playoff, but it was a one-loss team, got beat by a bad West Virginia team today. Texas Tech beat Kansas State. So Texas Tech kind of back in playoff contention here with one loss. Not playing a strong schedule. And I guess that's the news. You're kind of waiting to see who emerges from the Big 12. Feels like that could be like a Utah-Texas Tech rematch in the title game. I think those are your best teams.
I would agree with you 100%. Yeah.
So nothing earth-shattering in the Big 12 today. Big 10, kind of the same thing. Indiana went and took care of business. Penn State played Ohio State close for a bit. Ohio State ran away with that in the second half. Michigan held on, beat Purdue 21-16. Don't know that Purdue or Michigan's a playoff team, but it is 2 losses. Could get there. Michigan would probably need to beat Ohio State. And then you kind of wanted Nebraska to beat USC, which it was doing for a while. And then Nebraska couldn't score in the second half other than the field goal. So Southern Cal wins that one. Southern Cal going to have a difficult time getting to the playoff, but at least keeps its path open with 2 losses.
Yeah, it will be very difficult for them to get there, but they keep winning. I mean, we'll see, but I just I don't see them being a playoff team.
Yeah, feels unlikely at this point. So yeah, I mean, everything's pretty jumbled again. I think the big takeaway for me in the SEC today, Texas really, really needed to get a win, or it was going to be out of the playoff picture. It got one. Vanderbilt still in the picture with games over with Kentucky and Auburn at home, and then they'll go to Tennessee to finish the season. I think that'll be a matchup that will be difficult for Vanderbilt, the way it is giving up yardage and space, but we'll see. So anyway, I guess if you're the SEC, that's not bad. Neither team got eliminated in the playoff chase today. You didn't take a bad loss with an Ole Miss, with the Georgia, anybody like that. We knew Tennessee, Oklahoma was kind of an elimination game. You probably wanted Oklahoma to win it if you're rooting for SEC playoff berth, because I think Oklahoma is a 3-loss team, or even a 2-loss team, has a better shot of getting in. So nothing earth-shattering, I guess, in the SEC today. But those are your takeaways, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And Texas, you're right, most certainly needed that win to propel themselves forward. And Vanderbilt's still the wild card, I think. Like, can they get themselves there? The way we saw them play, especially in that fourth quarter, they're driven. Like you're not going to see this team quit. And I'm going to be interested to see if they can keep the pedal to the metal and get themselves there, because you're right, they're not out yet.
Your playoff teams, if you started it tonight, Ohio State, Indiana, both getting in. Oregon, I think, would too. Are you with me here? So that's your Big Ten.
Yep.
Michigan would be on the table. SEC, you got A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, all in without a doubt.
Yep.
So that's 7 of your 12 right there. Throw in your group of 5, that makes 8. Texas Tech, Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, all in consideration. I think you get one more between those 3. Not sure how that's going to play out. So that leaves you Big 12, BYU off this week. Yeah, that's the other thing. Big 12 could get 2. Depending on what happens with BYU and Texas
Yeah,
Tech and
that's
maybe
true.
Utah.
Yeah.
And ACC, got Miami losing today. Louisville is still in there. Louisville almost lost today too, but didn't. Came back, had a strong second half against Virginia Tech. So I think ACC, I'm going to guess that's going to be 1.
I would think so. I
Yeah.
do think that the champion will get in, and that's it.
Okay. So
I would be
let's
very
count them up.
surprised if there were any more.
Big Ten is getting 3 right now, maybe 4 pending Michigan, but I don't really believe it. USC is a possibility, but it feels like 3 for the Big Ten.
Yeah, I think so.
SEC is getting, I think, at least 4.
I
don't know that 6 is off the table, honestly, Chase.
No,
Won't happen,
yeah.
but it's not impossible.
It's not impossible. Yeah, no, I think that is. I think there's a possibility there.
Well, and I'm going to count them. I'm going to count the rest of the landscape first. I think you're getting 3 from the Big Ten will probably be shoe-ins. We'll talk about possibilities from others in a minute. I think ACC feels like it's a 1-bid league.
Yeah.
Big 12 feels like it might be 2.
Yeah, possibly. That
let's go 3 between the ACC and the Big 12. How about that?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
3 Big 10, and then one of your group of 5. So that leaves 5. So and plus Notre Dame.
Yeah,
I don't know what you do with Notre Dame. I guess on one hand, if you're Notre Dame, you're glad Miami lost today. But then again, maybe you're not because they beat you. I mean, that Miami's loss today could have eliminated both those teams, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it could have. Wow.
So, I mean, it feels to me like if you had to put a number on the SEC, are you going 5?
I would. Yes,
Okay,
I'll go 5.
That feels like your most likely number.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alabama, Oklahoma suddenly next week is super interesting.
Yes, it is. Much more interesting than we would have thought, I think.
Okay, if Oklahoma wins that, Alabama's got what? Eastern Illinois and then Auburn. I mean, Alabama's a 2-loss team. Oklahoma, if it gets Missouri and LSU, both those at home, I believe. Oklahoma's 2-loss team. Texas A&M is going to be a big one for Texas. So's the Georgia game. Gosh, if Georgia had lost to Florida today, then it gets really crazy, but it didn't.
Yeah.
You could end up having 6 10-win SEC teams.
Yeah.
10-2 teams plus whatever happens in the title game.
Yeah, that's that. There's going to be some chaos.
Yeah, got a lot to sort out here. But anyway,
yes.
I think it's I don't know that we got more clarity on the whole today or not. I mean, I think for the SEC, the day was a big win. That's what I take away. The stuff that you needed to see happen in other conferences, particularly the ACC, those things happened. And I think that left your chance at 5 bids much better after today.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's my big takeaway. All right, let's do medal stand. I'm going to go team. I'm going to give it to Mississippi State.
That's
I know beating Arkansas is no great. Yeah, that's where you're going to. I mean, they had not had a conference win since what was it, 03? In fact, I think their last conference win was that night the 7-3 game against Arkansas a couple of years ago.
Ooh, possibly, yeah. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
I think it was. Silver, I'm going Texas.
Yeah. They needed that, and they came through and got it.
Yeah. Kenneth, what I said is Alabama would be a 2-loss team if Oklahoma wins next week. Just to set the record straight. We're trying to make an interesting path here for the league. Gold medal, I would go. You got to go Oklahoma. Going to Knoxville and winning at night, that doesn't happen. So, shout out to Ole Miss, for I guess maybe your honorable mention for taking care of business. But players, gosh, that's a little harder. I think your candidates, you probably got Arch Manning at Texas.
Yeah.
You could throw Diego Pavia in there too, but I don't know that we've put a player on the medal stand whose team lost all year. You got maybe Branch or Stockton at Georgia. Anthony Evans, probably Mississippi State would be your candidate, 2 touchdowns. Kejuan Lacey for Ole Miss, 24 for $167 and a score. It's a pretty good South Carolina defense. Mateer throws for $159 and runs for 80. I guess he's your guy. Could be our Mason Thomas, by the way, but play of the day. I can't believe we didn't talk about that one, but you saw the strip fumble return where he kind of chicken fought with Miles Kitzelman for 25 yards and then broke away.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. This one to me, I'm going to go. I think I'll go Mateer, Stockton, Lacey.
That's good. Yeah.
With the honorable mention to Arch Manning, I just think Manning's there was so much run after contact today on broken tackles. I'm not saying he didn't play well, but he got a lot of help from missed tackles.
Yeah.
And I think Lacey, if you put $159 on South Carolina, I know they're not very good, but they have been pretty stingy defensively. And he's got a trust to pass block too. So any beef with that?
No, not at all.
All right. I think that's a wrap for tonight. Big night for the SEC. I think on the whole, more good than bad for the league. You didn't really eliminate anybody for playoff contention. You kept Texas alive. You kept Oklahoma alive. I guess you did eliminate Tennessee. So there's that.
Yeah. And I think a coach is going down. Yeah.
I mean, when do we call it on Hugh Freeze?
I mean, I think by the end of the day tomorrow, he'll be out.
Yeah.
I really
Who do they target?
John Summerall.
Staying in line.
Would be one that I feel like they should go hard after. I don't know. And again, they're entering this at a bizarre time. There are better jobs ahead of them. We've seen coaches turn down Auburn in the past. Can be a tough place to go. I don't know. I don't know where they go, but they can't ride with what they have now.
Yeah. So we're up to now. Okay. You had a change at Arkansas. You're going to have a change at Auburn. We'll just go ahead and count that one. Florida in the books as a change. I wonder if Mark Stoops ends up surviving this.
I think it depends on how they finish out the season.
Yeah.
So We'll
I mean,
see.
at some point, you've got to be looking around going, who do we get?
Right.
And
And
Summerall
I
was the guy like that played there, want to be there, but I did just too many open jobs,
yeah,
including LSU.
right. And he's coming up in all of them. So I think it's safe to say that John Summerall's going to be in the SEC next year. We just don't know where.
So if you count Auburn, LSU's 5. Venables may have saved his job tonight.
I think so. I think going on the road and winning the way they did, I think so.
Yeah, and if Franklin is a possibility at Virginia Tech, maybe Beamer stays.
Yeah.
It feels less. So are we going to stand at 5 coaching changes? Because here's another thing. Ole Miss winning tonight, I think, made it a little bit harder to get Lane Kiffin away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you'd probably already built that in as an expectation, but if it goes a different way, then that might be a different conversation.
Yeah.
Like I think Jay and I were talking, I think we'd set the over-under on fired coaches at 6.5. We might hit the under.
Possibly.
Arkansas, Auburn, Florida, LSU. Who have I missed?
Yeah, I think that's it. And then if Kentucky goes that route in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Jim Dillingham in the chat, one of our OU guys. Congrats, Jim. Big win for you guys tonight. Yeah, I mean, suddenly I think between that and again, looking around and seeing what your choice as a coach is going to be, the money for these buyouts, which is crazy, and then you're in this NIL landscape where everybody needs money, and your checks for all these dismissals are going to be, 8 figures easily.
Yeah. Hugh Freeze buyouts $15.4 million. That's a drop in the bucket compared to some of these other things we've seen.
I get it. Trey says coaching changes, not just firings. I do wonder how many coaches look around and just say, hey, look, if my school's happy having me here, I'm okay with that. I mean, you could really – somebody brought this up on a show last week, and I would give credit where it's due, except I can't remember who did. Like, really, there's only been one coach whose name has not been raised as a candidate to change jobs or be fired, and that's Josh Heupel.
Yeah.
Like everybody else has been, they're going to get fired, or, maybe Clark Lee goes and takes a job, or maybe Beamer takes a job.
That's true. You don't hear his name come up.
Yeah. It might be the week that the coaching carousel calmed down. All right.
What's a quick question for you, Chris? What is Clark Lee like? What would he leave Vanderbilt? Would he go to take one of these other jobs?
I don't think. But if I'm him, you can't get Vanderbilt to do anything usually without the threat of a coach leaving. If I'm him, I hold out. I don't make it easy.
Yeah.
I ask for everything under the sun I need.
That's
facility stuff, stadium stuff, bonus pools for assistants. His agent is Jimmy Sexton. And in case you haven't noticed, and I think you have, Jimmy Sexton doesn't have a habit of making it easy on schools. I'll bet you my thought is that's the way it'll play out.
Yeah. I would agree with you there.
I mean, the Beamer one is one I might want to check back in on after tonight, because they're so boring on offense. But that might be one where he could just say, hey, look, we'll get another offensive coordinator and try it again next year. But his habit of hiring bad offensive coordinators, that's got to change.
Yeah. Yeah, it most certainly does.
All right, Chase, any parting thoughts before we end tonight?
Fun day, fun games today. And looking forward to seeing the college football playoff rankings this week, and then get some more good games next week.
Yeah, looking forward to it. We'll have power rankings Monday. We'll have our first playoff show this week. That's going to be interesting to see where the committee ranks the teams. I'll probably have some guesses at that this week. We'll have previews for all the games next week. I guess we've got a lighter slate.
6 games.
Yeah. 5 teams on bye weeks.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, we'll be back and run it back again next Saturday. Again, stuff all during the week. Basketball season starts Monday night. We got you covered there. I will jump into that soon enough, but right now I got my hands with football, and Max and Blake have you covered. So anyway, all that coming up on the channel this week. You guys have a great rest of your week. Don't forget the time change tonight. God bless you. Have a great rest of your weekend. You've been watching Southeastern 16, presented by FanDuel.